Good morning, everybody. Good morning, bros and bow ties. Those of you who are new to the channel, I'm a black opinionated woman, also known as a bow. So I just want to get right on into it. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see me really good. Let me turn the light off for a second. I am wearing my transitions. I'm still getting used to them. I mean, they're cute though, but like, let me tell you, getting old is. Let me tell you, like these transitions, well, I'm getting used to them. All right, so look. I want to talk about my car ride, and I'm going to get into the 11-minute astronauts for a moment. So, for those of you who don't live in the United States, you're probably like, why is she trying to tell me about her car, getting in the car, the car ride, the quiet car ride? Let me explain something. As you can see, I am driving to work right now, and usually by the time I get on and I create a video, I've been 6, 7 minutes. I go out and drive. Well, because depending on where I am, getting good signal, blah, 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 so you got all that going on. I got to figure out which way I'm going to go today, which lane decides which route I'm going to take in, multiple routes. And so when you do that, when you're living in the United States and you're driving to work, or you're someone like me and you take your time before you get on, because you know that depending on which route you take, there are areas where I think the video reception is not as good. Based off of every once in a while, I will go play back a video to see how it looks and sounds. And when you're doing that, it's like a quiet place. It's like a sacred time. And then for those of you, if you're not in the United States and you're listening, I have approximately a 35-minute drive to work ish, depending on traffic, maybe 45. But it's 35-minute drive. I live a I live a little bit out in the country. It's definitely suburbs, but probably a little bit more like country. I like it. I love it. It's peaceful, whatever. Now, I want you to listen for a second. When we talk about the car ride, for those of you who don't live in the United States, because the country is so big, see, everybody like judges us based off of like, oh, you don't have really good like mass transportation, blah, blah, blah. Well, some areas are more developed for mass transportation than others. But we're not as small of a country as some of these other, like maybe European countries, for example. Um, we have to travel to work, right? So our vehicles become a source of comfort for us. Okay. So there's certain things that we look for. Like right now, believe it or not, even though it's spring, supposedly it's April, my car is saying it's like 36 degrees outside. Now it's supposed to be in the 50s, I think, today. I don't know. Anyway, it'll warm up. So I like to have my seat heaters on. I know you guys all have these things. The point I'm making is, because I know you guys all have your wonderful vehicles too. I like to have certain things in the car, and I enjoy a certain level of peace. Because what happens is, and I'm going to use this more so for when I leave work, I go to a place where there's a lot of people who don't look like me. It's not the end of the world, but you constantly have to be mindful of maybe microaggressions or just cultural differences, right? So there's things that I enjoy, or that other people that look like me that we enjoy, that may not be shared by other people, which is totally fine. But when you're a woman who's in a tech field, sometimes you have to be mindful of people constantly wanting to like talk over you, or they'll talk in a manner that's more condescending at times, and they don't even realize they're doing it. Now, it's not everyone. There's a lot of great people out here. The point I'm making is, when you go into work, it's kind of like you're definitely putting on your armor. And I shouldn't say it's like like this is horrible place, right? But what I am saying is, I definitely ha- I feel like everybody brings a representative to work. So when you're definitely at work and you're dealing with certain things, and then when you leave work and you get in your car becomes like this sacred place. Right? I shouldn't say sacred because it's not a religious place unless you play gospel music or something. So like it becomes it's a safe place where you can go decompress. And I actually use my vehicle for such. A lot of times when I get in my vehicle, I may not turn on anything at all. Like I will enjoy a quiet ride, or at least for a period of time. sometimes for the whole ride, depending on what's going on. It is a place where I can actually just have my thoughts, my thoughts. I have my thoughts. Sometimes I think of videos I may want to talk about that don't always come to fruition. Sometimes I think about things that may have transpired during the day, but oftentimes I'm mostly thinking about the things that I need to get done for the rest of my evening. You know, I got a million kids, so there's a million activities going on. So, you know, my husband and I are tag teaming, right? And we try to be intentional with each other too, because we're just in this really busy period. Sometimes we can support both things at the same time, and sometimes we have to divide and conquer. Where I'm going with it is my vehicle becomes like this quiet place, this place of healing sometimes, because it's safe in here. It is safe in here. There's times when I'm like, I can't believe this, so and so, so and so, and then I move on, right? I don't usually think about a whole lot of things. I feel like I must have the ADD or something. But this space here, I get to be vulnerable. It's my space. If I want to be vulnerable in the car, if I want to sing, if I want to do all these things, I get to do those things in here. And there's no one in here to judge me other than me and God. I'm trying to get around this vehicle. This vehicle is just taking his sweet old time. But this is why, like, my car becomes important to me. The quiet time, the solitude, to be able to process things without any distraction. I can be vulnerable. I can be brave in here. If I want to sing a song in a way that I'm like, probably should not have been sung, you know, I get to do those things. Sometimes I talk to myself in a car. People probably think that I'm a little bit on the crazy side. I very well could be. But I get to be that person when I'm here. But anyway, I get to, yeah, that's basically where I'm going with that. So now I want to segue into the 11-minute astronauts because, yeah, make sure. I just wrote down a couple of bullets about the quiet car ride. I didn't write anything down about the astronauts. Huh. All right. So anyway, I think I hit my main points about that. All right. So this was kind of like an awkward video, but I just want to talk about those astronauts for a second. Let me see if I can turn this light off. Do I still need this light on? No. So the astronauts. I forgot what the official definition of an astronaut is, but I think there's also the spirit in which something is meant to be said. So, I know how to cut my steak, right? And I can cut my steak in a way that's small and precise. Well, precise is relative, right? But that doesn't mean I'm a surgeon, right? It doesn't mean I'm a surgeon. It doesn't mean that you're someone that's going to give me a scalpel. It doesn't mean that I'm trained to be a surgeon, right? And this is probably a stretch of reach, but I think you understand the point I'm trying to make. Typically, when astronauts go up in space, they're usually testing something, experimenting on something. They might even be collecting data on their own body, whatever, right? Because there's physiological things that we have to learn, there's biological things that we have to learn, there's scientific things we have to learn. And so when they went into space and came back claiming to be astronauts, or someone claimed they were astronauts, there's a spirit in which we use the word astronaut. I, for one, would not consider them astronauts. I'm like, you didn't do a spacewalk. You didn't do anything. Like, I'm like, I don't even understand why. And then Gayle King got out there talking about, well, if this happened to man, would you have called this, that, and the other? And it's not that she's wrong for making that comment, saying that this would have been called like a journey or an odyssey. Probably true. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you're not going to gaslight us into thinking that you did some great thing. I don't know what it was that they accomplished. It was just giving secondhand embarrassment listening to Gayle King and Katy Perry talk. How she's just connected to love. Katy Perry, I think she talked about how she was like connected to love or something like that. And I was like, what is happening right now? What if they had gone up and just simply said, hey, this was a dream to go up in space and to experience what it's like to float around in microgravity and That, and if they had said that, I mean, people probably still wouldn't have liked it, but people would have been like, okay, more rich people stuff, right? But they tried to make it seem like they did a thing. And I'm like, well, what exactly did you accomplish that was advancing us? I don't see what advancement was happening. And maybe we've all got it wrong. Maybe it was never about advancement at all. Maybe it was all about, you know, hugging it out with other women in space. I don't know. Maybe there didn't have to be a purpose. But I just kind of felt like, what a way to rub this into the faces of, like, people right now who are here, who there are a lot of people who are struggling. And so it's just kind of like adding insult to injury for more wealthy people to go up in space, to hug it out and say dumb things. They said dumb things. Like, I was just so baffled. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening here. I don't understand why it seems like Gayle King, who supposedly is a journalist, can totally not read the room. And I think that with Gayle King, she's giving me token vibes. And like I said, tokens do get spent, right? So I don't understand what she was talking about. She's talking about, we asked Katy Perry to sing a song. It's just, I'm trying to figure out what they were doing up there. And like, the experience is supposed to be transformative, but I wasn't quite sure exactly what they got out of it. I'm not sure what they got out of it. You know, I don't know what do you tell people? I was floating. Well, yeah, we know you were floating. You were in microgravity, right? Like, anyone could read a book and say, okay, well, you know what? You're traveling at, what is it? Is it 17,000 to 18,000 miles? I can't remember. So basically, you were in a constant state of free fall, right? So you had the effect of the Earth's gravitational pull on your body, but you were in free fall because you were traveling at a speed that allowed you to constantly try to escape Earth's gravity, even though you can't escape it. But, like, I mean, you can, but, like, you weren't going fast enough to escape it. But it was just kind of kept you in a state of free fall, right? So now you're experiencing microgravity. You're still experiencing, like, I think 90% of Earth's gravitational pull, or whatever it is. A lot of people think that you're completely not experiencing any gravity in space, and that's not true. At the space station, if I remember correctly, you're experiencing the effect of 88% of Earth's gravitational pull on you, right? But what I'm saying is, so they're far enough away and they're traveling fast enough that they are not constantly being put on the ground. So yes, you're experiencing weightlessness because you are in a constant state of free fall. You don't have what's called the normal force. Now, this is like physics that I'm pulling out from, like, so many years ago. I think there's what's called, like, the normal force. That force of when you're sitting in a seat and you're no longer free falling. Now you have a certain amount of weight based off of the gravitational pull, and you have a force that is exerted upon you. That's the force that is allowing you to no longer fall, right? I don't even know where I was going with that whole part of the rant. Well, anyway, the point is, I'm trying to figure out how this whole experience was transformative. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. It was giving secondhand embarrassment. Gayle King and Katy Perry just could not read the room. It was just a waste in resources. Like, what did we accomplish? Did we start growing plants in 11 minutes? Like, I don't understand what the 11 minutes weightlessness was supposed to do. Unless the only thing I can think of is for, Bezos to say, like, here's another space ride. You know, this vehicle has had this many space launches, and maybe they are using that as a way of saying yes. And so, because we've launched stuff into space and have returned successfully, maybe they're looking for grants or something to start building something else. I don't know. I know there is something else at play, but these women, I don't know why they sent them up there. They could have sent a whole bunch of cats for all I know. Anyway, I was just confused. They sound dumb, and it was just one big, I don't know, like, PR stunt. It made no sense. And now they seem to be like trying to like convince us like it was what they did was so great. I'm just like, I cut food all the time. Does that make me a surgeon? Right? Um, if I, I don't know. I'm just so confused, and I've just stopped really even caring about Gail King anyway, because she's giving me pick me vibes and token vibes anyway. Especially after was it what was it that she, it's been a while now, but it kind of like rubbed me the wrong way about like one of the young black men, I think, that was shot and killed, or maybe it was that interview, I can't remember, but she's too much. She's too much. I don't really care for her. I think she's fake. I think I don't know. Anyway, that was my little rant. And just so I can circle back to the car situation, this has been this right as of right now. It says that I've been live for 16 minutes and 27 seconds. And remember, I've been driving for another 5 or 6 minutes or whatever before I came live, and I have about another 10 or 15 minutes of driving. So now you know why we talk about our cars so much. Our cars become important because we spend time in them. We spend quite a time in them. You got to remember, when you're going, like if you're living in Europe or someplace and they talk about how far something is, they talk about in terms of distance. For us, when we talk about how far something is, we talk about in terms of driving time. Okay? All right. That's all I got. Shout out to my transitions. Yeah, shout out to the transitions. I'm trying to get my life together. Now, I do have a pair of glasses, the darkening glasses that are cute, by the way. Do I have them in the car with me? Oh yeah, let me pull them out real quick. They are cute, but it's not like the sun is out right now, so I don't need them. Aren't these cute? These are my darkening glasses, but they don't get super dark when they're in the car. When you get out of the car, they get dark because I already have UV lighting or whatever. They say they don't really work in cars as much. They'll get a little bit darker. So I actually keep my regular sunglasses in the car. I know you guys are like, why is she yammering so much? Because I can. It's because I can. I just felt like I'm in a yammering kind of mood. And I haven't even begun sipping on my coffee. Talk about that. But okay, maybe I should get off now because I'm not seeing anything meaningful. Kind of like the women who went up in space for 11 minutes and called themselves astronauts. The 11-minute astronauts. I was like, what is happening here? All right, so go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I'm practically perfect in every way and practically could do no wrong. This is this is the channel you need to listen to. And let me know your both thoughts. Seriously, I'm curious to think what other content you think I should be speaking on. I need to start coming back on more often, but I've had to like distance myself because I didn't really have a whole lot to say. I just didn't even feel like being on camera a whole lot. I just needed some time. But all right, until next time.